Good morning, my valued viewers. It is still Monday morning, but only just. Never mind. Yeah, I've had things going on. I was editing last week's video of this exact scheme of things, but yeah, it took me too long. So I'm starting on this because I want to get the stuff that's going out today out. I've got 10 things to wrap. It's actually only 9 postages because somebody bought 2 items off me, which is great. I'll tell you about those later. I'll tell you about last week's sales right now. Jumping in to last week's sales. Right, first thing last week, you will have seen it in last week's video. By the time I'm editing it now, so I'm going to release that first and then I'm going to release this. I also have a pickup on Friday, which I'll probably squish between them. That's not going to take a lot of editing at all, but there you go. Right, first thing last week, £5.95 for Buster Move 2 that I got around the car boot for £2. Unfortunately, it was £2 out of £5.95, so there's £1 in fees, or just over £1 actually, just under £1, £2 in postages. So it adds up to about £3, but there was £2 purchase price of this Buster Move 2. It was really good condition. If it wasn't in as good condition, I'd have still sold it for that much. So anyway, I only made £1 on that. Next, Wolfenstein, the new order, $9.99 for the PS4. So obviously it commands more money, quite a bit more. Actually, there you are. I've changed my filming. I did have my lights on and I had this at a brighter screen, but every time I turned around, the lights were flashing off my forehead. The camera was compensating and you couldn't read the screen, so I've changed it. $9.99. I get nearly a £5 out of that because it only cost me £1 and it costs less to post. £4.70 for a memory card. This one cost a lot less to post, 85p plus an envelope, so under £1. And yeah, £4.70. Don't forget, it's in computer accessories, so it's in a low value, low commission category, which means I only paid £6, 9% commission. Still paid the 30p, still paid any advertising fees, whatever there was, but I still made good money on that. Don't forget, it came free with a camera. Always come free with a camera, these. So it didn't cost me anything. It's all profit. This is mostly profit. £26.70. The previous one, I got £26 plus postage. This is the cheaper version. I accepted just under £20, but I charged £6.95 postage. But I got this at the car boot for £1.50 instead of £6.50. So I made £5 more for selling the same thing. I took new photos because it was slightly different. Next, £34 for that action replay disc, which I told you that's what they were going for. Oh, but then they cancelled. Sorry, I'm doing it like that because I only have the one graphic for that one. What I've done here is I've taken a screen print and then I've expanded it out and used the photo editor to just put the lettering on. So yeah, it would have been another £34 on top of my total, but it wasn't. So all I did was I changed it back to a 1 in the listing, and now somebody else can buy it, hopefully. Next, Elder Scrolls Online and Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind. This one's the Crown Edition, so you don't have to pay any subscription fees. So I listed them both together because together they're worth a bit more. These are only like £3 games then now, and that's because there's no subscription fee. If they're subscribe only, you might as well pay a subscription fee to PS4, PlayStation, and get this sort of thing for free. Because their monthly subscription, I'm not sure, I think it's about £11 now. But you can subscribe to all sorts of stuff for free. But those were free subscription games. So I paid the same postage for those two as you would for one PS1, PS2 game. Actually, less than for one PS1 game, because normally I send PS1 games by courier because of the fragile cases. This was nice, and I told you about the massive margins on these type of things. This is the voice remote, not the normal standard remote that doesn't have voice. Bluetooth, £20.65. It's AV, so it's low commission category. So I only paid, I think, something like £1.65 commission on that. And then obviously all the other fees. But yeah, it come to about £18 after fees and commissions. There's £3 postage, £15, cost me 50p. Same for this really, except it only cost me £1, but it cost less to post, £2.50 this one. So yeah, I come away with about £12, and so I made about £11 or something. This one, £6.99, really good price on this. For a disc only, 85p postage, plus an envelope, so under £1. And it was free. I got this in a big bag full of games that I paid. She wanted she wanted to sell them separately. And I started looking through the bag. I'm not sure whether I've got a video of this. It's from at least a month ago, maybe 6 weeks, at the car boot in Hull. It might be one of the sections where the battery ran out, because I had a couple of weeks where the batteries were a bit dodgy. This is one of the reasons I'm not using my camera every week at the moment, because sometimes they last 40 minutes, other times they last 5. They're just not reliable batteries, and it depends. You can't really gauge as to how much they've charged up, even if you leave them overnight. I suppose I should get a better camera. Anyway, beside the point. This was free. The bag full was, she wanted, when I discussed the bag full with her, she wanted 45 quid. I wanted to pay 25 because I'm always cheap on that sort of thing. And we agreed on, it was either 30 or 32. Anyway, there was a big stack of PS1 and PS2 games like that loose, all scratching against each other. No covers, nothing, not even on a spline, just loose. So I just discounted those. I didn't even count them towards the value of the bag. But this one, £6.99. I cleaned it, obviously, tested it, and it worked fine. So yeah, £6.99. And I'll make about £5 out of that. It's not bad at all. You know, I've said to you about selling multi-listings. Well, this is one of them. These are the wires out of the hot wires. They're really just plastic connectors with a metal strip underneath. Anyway, the baseboard and all the snap-on connectors that you get in a normal set. So these are extras if somebody wants to buy it for another set or they've lost theirs. £13.99. That's more than twice what I bought most of the boxes for. I think a couple of them cost me £7 delivered off Vinted, but most of them were like £2.50, £3. From the car boot, I've got like 5 boxes. But you sell one, it pays for the whole lot, and then you've got all the other components to sell on the multi-listing, which I've got to get to doing actually. But saying that, my priorities this week are the more expensive items. I've got £240 items to list today, which you might see the pickups. Well, you will have seen the pickups by the time you see this. You'll have seen me pick up the Harry Potter books, and then you'll see a pickup of something else that's like £140 later on in this video if I spline it together, which I'm going to. I think it makes sense to do it before this week's pickups. It's only a short video I filmed in my car after the gym, after the charity shops. I don't know, actually I think I filmed in the charity shops this week, which was unusual for me, but I did it with my camera and I did it fairly surreptitiously, and there'll probably be no sound. Anyway, £13.99. That was a bit of a ramble, wasn't which I've been accused of lately. $23.99 for the Sky. This is a Sky room box with no hard drive in. But you get as much, if not more, than the larger boxes with the hard drives in. Saying that, this is now 3 steps back from the current Sky technology. The current Sky technology is Sky streaming. Before that, there was Sky Glass, which was like a television with a streaming built in, but it still accepted Sky satellite. I've said to you before, they really have to turn the satellites off because they're expensive. They probably won't put them up again when they come to the end of their lifetime. Also, you've got to have a ground station, or at least one ground station, for every satellite, which is expensive to run, considering you need big dishes and electrics and staff and security and fencing. What do you need in order to do streaming? An AWS account, Amazon Web Services, cloud account. That's what you need. You can stream professionally. I'm talking Sky can stream in the same way that, say, for instance, Amazon streams to televisions and Netflix streams. Obviously, they probably have big server farms, but Sky won't have as big a server farm, obviously, but that's all you need. Anyway, you certainly can cut back on your staff, and that's expensive, obviously. I'm being dragged into my mindset of rambling again. Okay, so what I'm saying is these are not popular anymore. It's ages since I've sold one, but I do have another one that I can list, take some nice photographs just like this and get it sold. $23.59. I think there's £3, maybe £4 worth of hardware in there. It was family friendly, which what that actually means is I don't have the PIN code and I can't be asked typing the PIN code in 10,000 times. Yeah, it's 0000 to 9999, so that's 10,000 times. Yeah, so I just put family friendly. Simple as that. Anyway, that went for $23.59, and that's going out this morning. No, it's gone out. I sent it out on Saturday. And that was like £3.50 to post, £3.25. I sent it by courier, Royal Mail 48. This is the calculator that the woman sent back that said it was faulty because it was damaged. What she meant was it was second hand because she thought she was getting a brand new calculator for £8 delivered. Right. Okay then. She actually paid £3. I paid £3.25 to send it, to get it back. But I've claimed that off eBay and reported her for fraud, return fraud. Anyway, I've sold it again, £7.73, which is less than I sold it for last time, but I'm all right with that. It gets it out of my hair and it's gone. Bikini Bottom, or rather, the Battle for Bikini Bottom rehydrated because it's a remake of a PS2 game, for PS4, obviously in HD. It's nice enough. Played it a little bit just to test it, and I sold it, and it cost me £2, and it costs £2 to post out, or £1.80 or whatever it is, £1.55. I think this was actually more than £1.55, so £1.80. So we'll call it £2, including the envelope and little bits and pieces. So just over a £5 profit. This was nice. James Bond. In fact, I'm going to list another one of these, and it's going to be really easy to do because I already have the pictures for a multi-listing of this game. In fact, those might be the pictures from the multi-listing. I've got about 6 copies. In fact, it's already got 2 on the SKU. BL15 and BL16. I'm going to look now. Bear with me. That's got to be 6 months or so old. 15 and 16. Yeah, there's 2. So we'll take 16 out. So it already has an extra second one in. And then when that sells, I'll take the one out the multi-listing. There you go. That's going out tomorrow. This morning, rather. Yeah. But that cost me less than 50 pence. And it's going to be £2 postage and what's that? About £1 in fees, maybe just over £1. So that's not too bad. That'll leave me, I don't know, £3.50 profit. Not bad. This one is, I've got to get them out. This is the one where she bought 2. A paperweight for £9.15, which is £6.99 plus postage. Some of my older listings had all the postages on for the paperweights, and this was one of them, number 12, from 2307. Yeah, 29th of July 23. So that's nearly 2 years that's been listed. But it had enough views to not get deleted, because a lot of ones, if they get like 0 views, they get deleted, and some of the paperweights I've got in there who've not had enough views have been deleted. In fact, I've got to do all that again. I've got loads of stuff to restock, and this one was from August of the same year. There you are. That's how long they take sometimes. Anyway, that's sold, and that'll go in the same box because it's the same buyer. This one doesn't have a number on. Oh yeah, I noticed that in the rehearsal, and in fact it had the same problem. I've put 2 pictures of this up and only edited one of them. Don't know why I did that. Must have pressed the save button before I'd edited the number onto it. Anyway, £10.19, which is £5.99 plus postage. Is it? £6.99 plus postage. Probably only cost me £1. It's for a printer, I think. This is nice. I had it up for £24. I was sending offers out at 20. Somebody sent me a silly offer. Don't forget there's £4.20 postage on that. No, I'd reduced it to £18 and sending offers at £14.80 or something, which was 20% off. Anyway, they sent me an offer of £14, and I thought, yeah, why not? I don't care. I really don't, because it's got damage. Even if it hadn't got damage, it's not really worth much, quite honestly. It's an autofocus, nice camera, but it's got scratches on, it's got damage on. She sent thanks saying, you have tested it, it does do all the things it's meant to do. I'm like, yeah, it does fine, it's fine. Anyway, £14. That £14, the postage pays for itself. Yeah, and I'm paying commission on this, but at the 6.9% rate. So it's not as much as all that. It's probably less than £2 in fees, which should leave me, what did I say, £14, £2 in fees, £12 profit. And that's all profit because, of course, that was in part of the big bundle of six bags for £40. Yeah. £8.99 for vintage Waddington's Pocket Monopoly. Yeah, fine. I think that cost me £2 though, because it was uncut. You can see all the little things are stuck together. Well, some of them are stuck together, and there's a few little scrabbly ones that have come off the side. The money was officially stuck together when it came, but there was just a few loose ones in the 3 packs that you get there. So I separated them out into denominations for the photography, and I don't think it matters that much, quite honestly. People want to see that. They don't want to see a stack, they want to see that all the stuff's there, which is what I did. And I got the same money as what somebody else, a well-used pack would have got. Oh yeah, this one's from earlier in the week. Sorry, but unfortunately I forgot to picture this one and I had to do it afterwards. Well, if you do that, then it comes at the end of the list. So there you are. That's from earlier in the week. I forgot to tell you about. £5.95. It's a 360 game, so it's going to cost me £1.80 to post. I've already posted it. Leaves me £3. It makes me £2.50 because all of these cost me between 50p and a pound, but mostly they're like 50p. And that's the lot, I think. Yeah, that's the last of the list. Yeah, not brilliant. I think that's... Oh, that's clever, isn't it? I didn't know you could do that. Okay, so that's the end of that. And £255.78. It would have been like £290 with that £34 added on, but it wasn't. You know, yeah, I try, but that's 20 sales, £255, £256, whatever. I don't really care about these bits here. I never really concerned myself over that. I'm going to list about 450 quid's worth of stuff today, so hopefully I'll have better sales this week. The reason being, over the last month I've had 4 0 sales days in the last 30 days. And it's not because I don't have loads of stuff on, because I do. And some days, like Sunday, yesterday, I sold 10 things. Sorry, that's not true. I've got 10 things going out. Some of them sold on Saturday. But I sold about 7 or 8 things yesterday. I'm not telling you about them. I'll tell you about them next week. And I've sold 1 thing up to now this morning. So I know it's not that people don't want the stuff. It's just they're not getting to see it. And they're not getting to see it because of all the promoted stuff at stupid promoted commission rates like 11.7 that eBay recommends. And then the organic stuff's well below that. So you even at 2% promotion, you're going to be right down the list of promoted. Say the list promotes 6 or 7 items, you're going to be number 5. Even if they're looking for that particular item. And they aren't always, of course. Customers are, what's the word? Fickle. That's the word. Sometimes they'll see something they like and just buy it straight away. Other times they'll spend an hour looking to see whether the right price is available. And then not buy anything. That's the way it goes. Anyway, that's the total for the week. I'll put it up there in big green letters. Seeing as I've been using green letters for the sales. Green letters for the total. And then I'll clear all this lot away. Do the wrapping. I'm not going to show you the wrapping. All the stuff that's going out first thing this for the first like 8 or 9 things this week, as I say. And then I'll come back and film the segment about pickups. But there's a segment in between of my charity shop pickup and the bit where I show you what's on the shelf in the charity shop and complain about the prices of them. Yeah, this is all going to get edited together. I know it's not, if I'm using this, why am I bothering with the editing? Because I want to put this bit in the middle of the two, and also I want to do the wrapping before I do the filming of the other bit. But the next bit's going to be unedited as well. And then the bit in between, I have to edit it because the music that's on in the charity shop. But I'll probably do a voiceover. Run SpongeBob transition 1. Yeah, because there's going to be 2. You see, 1 at the end of each. Never mind. Run SpongeBob now.
Flashback.
Okay, it's Pete with my hat on today. Friday morning again, and I'm doing it widthways this time because it's going to be a little bit longer. I'm going into British Heart Foundation. Now last week I filmed, but I used vertical and it didn't really work for what I was doing, and there was music on in British Heart Foundation. So I'm going to hold this near my chest, and I might have to zoom in a little bit. So it could be grainy in parts, and I could turn the sound off in parts. But last week there was a full shelf, no, half to 3/4 of a shelf of Xbox 360 games. They were way overpriced, and a few Wii ones and various other little bits and pieces. Ridiculous prices, because this is what it's getting to now. They don't actually look at solds, they look at what people are asking for on eBay, and they maybe knock £1 off or two and think they're going to sell it at worldwide prices in one shop in Hull with, I don't know, maybe 5 people at a time in. I know they have like nationwide pricing schemes and things like that, but well, I'll go in, I'll hold a few games up, and then, as I say, I'm editing this one because the last time I did one, it didn't really work out very well because of the sound and various things, and the fact it was vertical. There was no place to put any annotations in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, see where they've still got them, whether there's any hi-fi, whether there's any video, and yeah, I'll take my bag and we'll see. I'm going to spin you around and go in, and then possibly we'll do cancer research for a minute or two. I've only got like 40 minutes and it's a 20-minute drive home. So the reason I'm saying that is I've got something being delivered at 20 past 10. No, sorry, it's 20 past 10 now. 10 past 11 or something. Okay, so onwards. Spinning you round. There's cancer research is over my shoulder. British Heart Foundation to go with. I'll cut the bits, the boring bits between here and there and outside walking about. There we go, had a big reveal. Oh, most of them are still there. Let's have a look. Riven, £2. Raven, sorry, it's a BBC game. BBC programme, I thought it was Riven then. Lips, £1. Battlefield 3. No price. The Hobbit. It's quite a nice game if you like that sort of thing. £5. Yeah, it was £5 a week ago. Ministry of Sound 3. Gears of War. Well, this is a 50p game if I ever saw one. The price has disappeared. I think you get the message. 5.2 for Halo. Looks like it's in good nick. Now there's Gears of War 1. See, if they had the bundle, it might be worth buying because it's an instant bundle. £5. Dear. £2. There's a 50p game. Most of these trade in for 10p at CEX, and they sell them like this for £3. £3. £3. £2.50. There's a possibility, I suppose. £7. NHL 2K8. So that's a 17. So I'm back at the car. I wasn't going to carry this around the other shop. So it's got all its bits there. 3 pieces, door hook, balloon whisk and K-beater. Sort of splatter guard, metal bow, that's the word. And it's a KM001. If anyone wants to look it up. I've just looked it up. You've seen the signs. You've seen the sold prices. It is absolutely the mankiest you've seen in years. In fact, it's the dirtiest Kenwood chef I have ever seen in my entire life. I'm surprised it hasn't got an ecosystem growing in the bottom, but it hasn't. It's just dirt and old flour and salt and dust and shit like that. Well, it'll take an hour to clean thoroughly. I mean, you will not recognise it. And then I'll be putting up for over £100. Let's see what I can get. Somebody managed to get, I think it was 159 or 149 on best offer, so maybe they accepted a bit less. And then there's 2 at 99 with strike through prices, so you know, and 1 at 76, but I only had 1 hook thing, and there's 3 there and a spatter guard. So yeah, pretty pleased with that. Right, I'll grab another bag. We'll go around Cancer Research. They do have very loud music, and often it's like packed, and 90% of it's women's clothes, and I'm not interested in clothing at all. I want the hard goods. All right, I'll grab another bag and I'll cut to the next video. Yeah, Cancer Research was a bit of a bust, but never mind. I got the £10 mixer at British Heart Foundation, so there's been a good one really for me up to now. Yeah, they've got like electricals in there, and everything's a manager special, because if you look at the, well, you don't, but in the window it used to say 3, 2 and 1 are our only prices, and then there was a little star like about a month after they opened that said accept manager specials, gold star manager specials, right? And then I would say a third of the stores are now a gold manager special. That's the way it works, isn't it? So the vast majority of all the electricals are manager specials. So there's no 3, 2 or 1 there. The kids' toys, there are some shelves full of kids' toys at 3, 2 and 1. But then there's a table full of manager specials. There was a Megalatron, Nerf, Mega something Otron in there, and it was like £10. I think I might have video of it. If I have, I'll put it in here. And if I haven't, it just paused for 3 seconds. Okay. Yeah, it depends on how shaky the camera work was. And when you look it up, some of them, they go for like 30 quid with all the stuff. And then there's others going for £17.94. Well, it was £10. £17.94 minus fees doesn't leave a lot for the amount of work involved in a Nerf Megalatron or whatever it's called. What did I get though? I did get something. Yeah, and as I say, the manager specials are special. What that means is they don't really want to charge £3 or less. I think it's £5 or less now. That's beside the point. All the books are £4 for £1. All the DVDs and CDs are £5 for £1. Big signs saying that, but then they have a rack next to it where they've picked out all the books they want to sell for more than £1. I know there's a big sign saying all the books are £1, but then they're all priced individually. And the same goes for DVDs. There's no video games on the shelves that are £5 for £1, but I did manage to find a video game in with all the £1 and £2 and £3 CDs, DVDs and box sets. So it was this Rock Band. Now, if you watched my long short, 3 minutes vertical, I got a Rock Band guitar, and I said, oh yeah, I'm sure I've got a Rock Band game. No, I haven't, but I have now. For the Xbox 360. I had plenty for the PS3, I had some for the PS2, but now I've got the one I need for the guitar that I've got. So I will be testing that today. Play a few chords, nothing spectacular, make sure all the buttons work, There's Blue Oyster Cult, David Bowie, Bon Jovi, The Clash. Should I stay or should I go? Rolling Stones, Soundgarden, The Strokes, The Who, Oasis, The Police. Okay, I'll play a few. £1. It's well worth the investment in order to test the game, the machine that I picked for 15 that I can now hopefully sell for 40 to 50.
3 days later.
So I hope you enjoyed the second segment of the video. It's 8:30 and I've had to wait till this time because it was pouring down all evening. Well, all afternoon and all evening, in fact, up to now. If you might remember some of the videos from last year, it was so loud in here when it rains. You could hardly hear me speak, so I had to wait till now. We'll do some more pickups now. North Cave, it was very quiet actually. It started off really quiet. There was like 6 cars. Some more turned up, but not as many as normal. It was really cold. I mean, it's raining now. Well, it's still only drizzle now, but it was really bad earlier. So what did I buy? I bought, first things first, 6 CDs off a guy. Second stall that long, really. He had some CDs and he was just putting them out, and they were all fairly decent. There was some no mark country and western type things and things like that, you know, the usual sort of Jim Reeves and all that sort of stuff. But I did get some, and I got one of those fat PS1 CD cases, so you get your PS1 game into these. It's an early release game. I got From the Cradle, Eric Clapton. Sting, this one's called The Summoner's Tales. U2, How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb. The Complete Stone Roses, and Tubular Bells 2, and that one. So those 6 cost me £2, and somebody else was looking at this tray of DVDs, and I had noticed that it was picking out and putting away and doing things like that. There was quite a lot of sealed ones. So I turned around to the guy while this other guy was looking at the DVDs, and I said, "Oh, how much are your DVDs?" And he says, "Oh, whole tray's £2." I said, "I'll have it." I was about 4 feet away. I wasn't interested in looking at it. I saw there was some sealed ones in there. I just said, "I'll have it." There's about 50 DVDs. Quite honestly, there's some right dross, but there's some not bad stuff. And I'll show you what was sealed, and I've listed a few already. The Complete Faulty Towers, that's 7 or 8 quid, sealed, new, delivered, that is the price. These are delivered prices. The Bucket List, it says £6.99. Most of these are like £3.50 delivered, sealed, new, £2.20 not sealed. Muck Busted Live at the Tour Play, that's between like £3.50 and £4. Happy Valley seems to be worth something, 6 quid maybe. The Odd Couple, now this, when there's like 5 of them, it's going for like 36 quid. I haven't been able to find Series 3, Series 1 and Series 2 and Series 4. Anyway, it's sealed, so I'll try and sell that. Babel or Babel, I don't know about that. It says £3.99. A lot of them had this on. I've taken off a couple of them because I photographed the fronts listing. The Hobbit is part of a trilogy. I've got 2 parts of the trilogy. The third one wasn't there, but they're both sealed. Those 2, I'm thinking maybe 3 quid, 4 quid delivered. They're very light because they don't have any manuals or anything. It's just like a DVD in a case, nothing else inside. So those 2 will sell for normal postage £1.80. So I can sell that for like £3.50. Yentl, new and sealed. Surprisingly, that's still going for really good money. 6 or 7 quid. I was surprised. Little Children. Kate Winslet, Jennifer Connelly, Patrick Wilson. Nah. EastEnders, nah. And then 2 war movies, The Longest Day and Tora, The Attack on Pearl Harbor. It's new and sealed. So I don't know about that one because it's so thick that it'd have to be £3 postage to me anyway. So anyway, £2 for the sealed lot. Well, and the other 45. The other 45 as well. So what I'll probably do is put 15 for £1 on Vinted. You know, get rid of them and get me money back, but also sell these for like 50 or 70 pence each profit. Who knows? I might put some of them on Vinted actually. Got photographs of about half a dozen already this afternoon. Then I got, does anybody recognise this? This is an IKEA lamp called Navlinge. Anyway, it's an LED light. The LED's there, just the one bulb. Oh, actually, I think it's a cob. It's got like 6 on the same little circuit, and obviously it's flexible. There are ones with a clamp on the bottom. I've had those in the past, and they don't sell for as much, but this one's a nice desk lamp, as you can see, with a power supply. And that cost me, I paid over the odds for this, paid £3, but it should sell for maybe 10. Maybe. There's a lot of people selling them. It's really a clean example, this. And then I saw this on the side, which is just a little 14-inch TV, which is what I've been picking up recently for my testing station. This will replace a 16-inch TV. I know it sounds daft, but I'd rather pay the extra few quid and have them smaller. Anyway, that was a £5 with a remote, because those ones, a lot of them don't have remotes and you've got to fiddle about at the back. So much easier when you've got a remote, isn't it? And that's all working with a power supply. Well, it's just a cable, kettle cable. I've got loads of them anyway, but it was nice to have one. Yeah, and I've already tested it. It's fine. It's got all the inputs, everything you might need if you were using a gaming machine. So that was good. And then I got this for £2 as well. That was all I got in North Cave. This is a TP-Link Wi-Fi to power line adapter, and there's 3 of them. She says £2. I was like, I'll have it. £2 with 3 TP-Links. They're the older version. They're only 600, which means they've got 600 megabits per second. But they are power line to LAN and Wi-Fi, I believe. Yeah, power line with one-touch Wi-Fi cloning. Box is a bit rough. They'll clean up and list, and they're going for about £20 for the 3. So I'm pleased with that for £2. Obviously, it's not £20 each like those other ones that I had last year. I went to Hull. What did I pick up? I picked up, there's not a great deal here. I'll tell you what I got. This was quite nice. This was later on at the sale, but I'll tell you about it now because it's in the bag and I can put the bag down. Practica. Now we had it all, everything was loose, so I bought, well, I tried to buy. He wanted a £5 for that and a £5 for that, and I paid £7 for the 2. But I had to dig about in the box and find ones that matched, because most of the lenses were shorter than this, and they had the bayonet mount for either Canon or Practica or all these other ones. This is a screw thread 42mm thread, M42 they call it, and it's what basically all your older cameras have, especially your Russian and German ones. There we go. And Nice long lens, which isn't dirty. f2.8, which is really good for a long lens. Normally they start at about 3.5, 3.8. Well, this is a 2.8 for a 135mm lens. That's pretty good. It actually goes down to 2.8, and then there's PU, which I don't know really what that is. And you can have an automatic, so that when you press that little button there, it adjusts the metering. It adjusts the iris inside it automatically so that the metering is correct. That's what I was going to say. And it's winding on, taking shots, and you can test the timer by changing the timer there, and it opens it up and closes it. Yeah, very nice. It's not a huge amount of money, quite honestly. I'd be lucky to get 20 quid for, maybe 25. I don't know the exact figure on those, the TL1000s. They're not like the LTLs and the MTL3s. They're not as well known or common. I got Downfall, and I thought it was missing pieces, but it's not. But it is missing something, which is quite annoying. It's got all the little tokens. I found them. One was in the bag, but it doesn't have the little. These days, you can use your fingers, but it's awkward. They're meant to have a key that you slot into this diamond-shaped hole, hexagonal, and turn it. Well, the keys are there, but the ends are being snapped off. Yeah, that's not so good. It's raining again, isn't it? Damn. But it's not too heavy. But apart from that, it's fine. It cost £1. I don't know whether I'll find those bits or just sell the parts. I've got most of this one already, but it didn't have the tokens because I'd already swapped them out with another one, which is what I do if I've got them. What else? PS3 game for 50p. Yeah, I know. I was hard pressed to find any video games. A pack of 10 CDs for £1. That's not bad. That should sell easily. I'm not sure what the selling price of Fujifilm CDs are, quite honestly. But, you know, plus it's made in, it's got Russian on the back and Arabic. I was going to say they're made in Japan, but Fujifilm normally is for everything. But he doesn't say. Germany, made in Germany. There you go. Germany. That's not bad, is it? Meccano. I think that's the highlight, really. It cost £5. It's mostly there. Virtually everything. It's all mixed up. He said it was brand new. It's really good condition box and the manual and everything. But it's not brand new. No. It's all mixed up. They've opened the bags and taken bits out that they needed, and then when they built something, they've put it back just by putting it in a box. So yeah, it does have all the electronics and the wheels for like remote controlling the car. If I can get that tested and working, I think it's quite a valuable piece. This the number is 9515 if you want to look it up. I'll flash up the price there. As I say, it cost me £5. I don't know, I haven't looked it up yet. I've forgotten all about this afternoon. I've been cleaning and photographing the mixer, which you've seen in the second segment, hopefully. Anyway, I mean, I'm saying that now. I haven't edited it yet, so, but I do know that it came out fairly well because I reviewed it after I'd made the video. Okay, so that was that. I got I picked up a Panasonic phone system, or rather I tried to, and then I realised there wasn't any handsets. So I said, how much of these power supplies on their own? Not that one. These three, and they had the bases. And he says, what do you mean on their own? I said, well, there's no handsets. 50p? I said, yeah, fine. So I picked those up, and on the same stall I picked up another one, and yeah, another power supply, which I think I've already photographed yesterday afternoon actually, and listed, and also 2 more figure 8 cables, and I paid I paid 50p for these, and I paid £1 for 2 power supplies and 2 figure 8 cables. Yeah, very good value. And I was really pleased with that, quite honestly, because this one is for a VAX. I looked it up. Well, I didn't look it up there and then, but I knew it was good value for a VAX. I looked it up afterwards. I've tested it, it's working. That's 15 quid for that one, that power supply. These are 8 quid each. I've got half a dozen already. And those just add into TVs and things when I sell them, or whatever you need it for, really. Figure 8 cables, kettle cables, they're always useful. Oh, is that the other power supply? Does that come out of the bag? No, that's something else. So yeah, that was it. Oh, 10 pieces of Fujifilm. Oh, that's the CDs. Yeah, that's it. £29.50. No, sorry, £30.50. Yeah, I added an extra thing in because I'd forgotten about it. Yeah, £30.50. I know. As I say, it was colder. It hadn't rained at that point, but it was going to rain, and people knew it was going to rain, so they hadn't turned up. Because let's face it, right, they're not traders. They don't have to make that money every week. They can go the next week and get rid of all their stuff. Yeah, £30.50. I'm hoping for 200 back on that. I'm calling it for the night. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget, if you want to watch it in segments, you can go down into the description, and there is like things you can click on to watch one part or another separately. Subscribe and come back and watch it. That's the answer. Subscribe anyway and come back and watch next week's and the week after's. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Get listing if you're a lister. If you're just watching, don't get listing. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Hold down each fret button, then strum up and down a few times to make sure you're connected.